Hello. As promised, I'm gonna do a little run through my live set, but only focusing on my template and how to map that template with your own control surface or MIDI controllers that you use. So you can actually play around with my template and get inspired by it, use the parts you feel for, and change the stuff you don't feel for, or add the different things that you need in your setup. I'm obviously not using everything that you can do in Ableton. There is much more you can do. So this template is downloadable from the link below in the description of this video. So if you don't have that template and that construction kit yet, you can download it from that link. It's on the Circle of Live website. So in that, I'm also made a little sketch of different loops. So you can download the set, play around with my sounds, and start to modify, add your own sounds, etc. So let's look on the screen in the computer. I have, and I also would like to say that the whole explanation about this live set can be watched on the Ableton video about the workshop I had about my live set. So this is just focusing on the template and the mapping. So I have here, there is different channels here. You can see here I'm selecting the different channels. So from this channel number 1 to the one called here extra, it's 12 channels. On each of them I have a clip. If I'm pressing on this clip, there is an audio clip, here's another one, here's one, etc. So you have all of them there. These ones you should see on your setup. So we start with that. I have, if you look on the top view, I have my MIDI controllers. You probably have other MIDI controllers. So what you need to do is to choose what you want to control. You maybe want to add other plugins. Now in this version I've only added, or the one you can download, it's only Ableton plugins. I also use other plugins, but it's good to, if you want to, can only use Ableton plugins. They're really good. Or you can start with them and then explore others if you feel for that. So we can take, for example, here, channel 3. If you want to map, if you look in the screen, there is on the upper right corner that says MIDI and it says key. If you press MIDI, everything turns blue. That is mappable. So every parameter that exists here, you can address and map to a MIDI controller. If you press key, it turns orange. And there you can actually do short commands on your actual keyboard, on the laptop or computer you use. Now I'm gonna focus on the MIDI thing. So I press MIDI, we go to channel 3. And there is a lot of things that you can map. I have selected the following. This is, if you look here, or I take the mouse here, channel 3, that's a fader. So that one I have mapped, and then you just press it, like here is 4, I just press there, and then I move that specific fader. Now that is mapped to that. So when I move out from here, and I change this fader, it goes up and down. So anything on your MIDI controller or control surface can be mapped to a specific thing in Ableton. And then on each channel, I have, now actually there is not an Ableton plugin. So just to show you how you add a plugin, it can also be useful. I erased that, was an EQ from another brand. I go here and there is a little arrow up here. So you can open and close and load things. I go to audio effects. Here comes all the different audio effects. That is native Ableton plugins, and I go to an EQ. So I go to EQ 8 here, and I open that, bang. And then I can, if I press this MIDI again, I can actually, you see everything turns blue here. So I can, basically I can map every parameter in this EQ to any of these buttons or faders or knobs. I have selected only to have a little band sweep. So then you just choose the sweep, and I want to change the frequency of that. So then I press the frequency here, the computer, and then I move that specific button. I also want to be able to actually put on and off that specific EQ. So here in the left upper corner, there is the on and off of that. You can also choose to turn it off here. And press there and here. So if I take away MIDI there, if I press here, you see it's on, off and on, off and on. And here, so now I can sweep the sound up and down. Then in my setup, I have chosen to have 2 effect sends that I can adjust the amount. So I choose effect A, send, and effect B. So for A, I press here, and I turn the knob, plop, plop, plop. Take B, turn the knob, plop, 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 and out. So now you can see there is maximum send, here is nothing. For me that is very useful because sometimes I have the sound as I have recorded it and it just stays there and moves around. But sometimes I start to actually work and play with the fader, and when I do that it becomes very sudden, and if it's completely dry. Because if I had effect on it, it will disappear together with the sound when I take down the fader, as it's recorded wet with the effect. So to be able to add a little here allows me to play around with that sound when I do like this. Then I have a little beat repeater. A beat repeater can be, you can tune that in many different ways. How I've done it is to just use it as a quick, easy looper. So I have addressed it here to this knob. When I press here, looper starts. When I turn this one, I can change it from the loop to be 1 bar or much shorter, like a 16th or a 32 note. So I do like this and I loop. So this one, same. You go to MIDI, you press it. I have on and off, press. I wanted to have the length, I press the length and I turn. On this controller specifically, this top row, you can turn them and you can press them. That's why I like to have them for that. Here, this lights I mapped as the mute. Same, you go up and you press. And then one last little thing that is actually extremely helpful, especially if you looped something. It could be part of the sound that were maybe very low in volume. And because of that, and like if you play with an analog desk, you always have a gain. So you can just crank it up and it's louder. Here, like I did it, I can't, while I'm playing quick and easy, gain it up. So I just added a little gain. So I add here 5-6 dB. So when I press here, it turns on an extra 5-6 dB, which can make a sound if I really want to make it sound much more. And then I have done this on all the channels. As you can see, I have a lot of extra synths, and what I've done there is that I have added some effects that actually, like for example this one, let's see here. Now you can't see it there. I added it to different buzzes, but I use some of these knobs to actually add effects on a lot of sounds at the same time, which can be more affecting when you play and you need to have like a master effect, but you don't want to have the effect on the kick and the bass, for example. So I have it on everything but that. Another thing you see in the template is, like this is on the left side here. If you look at the screen, the left side is all these sounds and the 12 channels which I mapped. So all of them you can map in the same way as you wish. And then comes something that I think it says full loop. Here I have some loops that are just a full mix of something. So sometimes I feel for playing a full loop without needing to break it down to different things, which sometimes is helpful if you're playing and you improvised and you need to reset and kind of erase everything. You can put a little pre-made loop that runs by itself. That's the reason why I have that one. Then I have a few external MIDI channels. I think in the template I'm giving away, it's called external 1, 2, 3, 4. Here I'm having a MIDI interface, so I'm connecting 4 different MIDI outputs. If you don't use an external gear, you can just erase them. If you have a MIDI interface, you can just assign it, so it's controlling the right MIDI channels. Then I have, I don't remember how many, I think it was 4. Now I in my setup I have 8 different soft synths. So there I think I added a few Ableton presets. If you go in here, you can, for example here I have a little native instrument Rhodes. And the same thing there, if you want to have it mapped, you just map it. I have all these soft synth mapped, so I can just come to them. And you go in and find that, and you choose what instrument you want. And when you're there, you can play with it. And then you can have another there. I think I added a little key, a piano or something, and a pad, a bass, and something else. The last thing I have in the template is a few drum kits. If you downloaded the template, it probably says that it's missing a few files. It's because I added one drum kit there, an Ableton drum kit. So, and I didn't want to include the samples from that one, so it's not my samples. So if you want to have drum kits, just go here to the side here. It says instruments here, and then you can go to drum racks. It says drum racks here, and then you just choose one, and you drop it. Like for example here, take away that one. So go there, and then it thinks a little bit, and then you have it. So for example here, it's ready. So then I have signed that like the others, that when I press it, it jumps to that specific. And if you look from the top now, you can see that when I press here, the push behaves a bit different. So when I go to a channel with a drum kit, all these 16 becomes the drums. So here I can play with that one. How I did it is that I actually did my own drums and loaded them and made my own little drum rack. And that you can also do, or you can mix match. You can take existing samples in Ableton and create your own drum kit that you want to add to when you play. And I can show you quickly how you, like this, that you assign a track. It's also very easy. You go to MIDI up here, you press the specific channel, like for example here was the drum rack, you press it up here in the top, and there you press like this. So here I can jump around between different drum racks. For example, here I have kick drums. Yes, I think that was all. Enjoy. Hope you have fun with that template and it gives you some inspiration. Bye bye.